Welcome, weary soul. You've found a place of rest. Come sit by the fire, child of God. The warmth you feel is not just from these flames, but from His presence surrounding you. The weight you've been carrying, those thoughts that have been racing through your mind, you can set them down here. Feel the tension leaving your shoulders as you breathe deeply. In this moment, you are safe. In this moment, you are held. The wisdom of ages awaits to speak comfort over you, to guide your path with gentle light. The book of Proverbs holds ancient wisdom, given by a father who knows exactly what you need. As you rest by this fire, let these words wash over you. You need not strain to remember them all. Simply receive them as a gift, as nourishment for your weary soul. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Let that truth settle deeply within you. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to figure it all out. Your Father in heaven sees the path ahead with perfect clarity, even when it seems hidden from your view. Take another deep breath. Feel the warmth of the fire. Feel His presence drawing closer. My child, pay attention to what I say. Turn your ear to my words. Do not let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them and health to one's whole body. His words bring life. They bring healing. They restore what has been broken. As you sit here in this moment, allow yourself to receive this gift of wisdom, this gift of life. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Keep your mouth free of perversity. Keep corrupt talk far from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or the left. Keep your foot from evil. In a world that pulls you in countless directions, wisdom calls you to steadiness, to focus, to intentional living. Your heart, that deepest part of you, is worth protecting. It's worth guarding, for from it flows everything else in your life. Take a moment now to be still. In this silence, express gratitude for the wisdom that guides you, even when the path seems unclear. The warmth of the fire reminds you that you are never alone on your journey. Even in the darkest night, wisdom lights your way. Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Feel those words like honey, sweet, nourishing, healing. The words you speak matter. The words you receive matter. Here, by this fire, receive words of life. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Even in difficulty, joy remains possible. Not a shallow happiness that denies reality, but a deep-rooted joy that comes from knowing you are loved, you are seen, you are held by the one who created you. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine wisdom as a great, sheltering tree. Its roots go deep into rich soil. Its branches spread wide, offering protection and shade. In your mind's eye, see yourself sitting beneath this tree, completely at peace, completely at rest. This is what God's wisdom offers you. Not rigid rules, but a sheltering presence, a place of safety and growth. The name of the Lord is a fortified tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. When you feel threatened, when anxiety rises, when confusion surrounds you, His name is your protection. Run to it, speak it, rest in it. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. You are not meant to walk alone. Even now, as you sit by this fire, you are connected to a great cloud of witnesses, those who have walked this path of wisdom before you, those who walk alongside you now. You are loved at all times, even when you feel most alone. Take another moment of silence. Breathe deeply. Express gratitude for the relationships that God has placed in your life. Those who stand with you in adversity, those who speak wisdom when you need it most. The fire crackles gently, reminding you of God's constant presence. Wisdom continues to speak. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. All true wisdom begins with reverence for God. Not cowering fear, but holy awe. Recognition that He is God and you are His beloved creation. This reverence opens the door to all other understanding. When pride comes, then comes disgrace. But with humility comes wisdom. Pride blinds us to our need for guidance. Humility opens our eyes, our ears, our hearts to receive the wisdom we need. Here, by this fire, you can set aside pretense. You can acknowledge your need, and in that very acknowledgement, wisdom begins to flow. Imagine wisdom now as clear, cool water flowing from a spring. See yourself cupping your hands to drink. Feel the refreshment spreading through your body. This is what happens when you receive God's wisdom. It refreshes your entire being. The wise in heart accept commands, but a chattering fool comes to ruin. Wisdom knows when to be silent, when to listen. In a world of constant noise, of endless opinions, wisdom creates space to hear God's voice, like you're doing right now by this fire. Whoever pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honor. The pursuit of wisdom leads to fullness of life, not necessarily ease, but depth, not necessarily wealth, but true prosperity of spirit, not necessarily fame, but the honor that comes from living with integrity. Take another deep breath. Feel the warmth of the fire. Feel the presence of wisdom surrounding you. The wise store up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool invites ruin. Wisdom knows that there is always more to learn, always deeper understanding to gain. In humility, wisdom collects insights like precious gems, storing them for when they're needed. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. You don't need to have all the answers yourself. Wisdom seeks guidance, listens to trusted voices, weighs different perspectives. You are not alone in discerning your path. Now, visualize wisdom as a lamp, casting gentle light on the path before you, not revealing the entire journey at once, but illuminating the next step. This is how God's wisdom often works, showing us what we need for today, guiding us one step at a time. The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. Your understanding will grow. What seems dim now will become clearer. The light increases as you continue to walk in wisdom's way. A person's wisdom yields patience. It is to one's glory to overlook an offense. Wisdom brings the gift of patience with others, with circumstances, with yourself. It gives you the strength to extend grace, to forgive, to release offenses rather than holding them tightly. The fire reminds you that even in life's winter seasons, Warmth and light remain. Wisdom speaks. As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. What flows from your life? Your words, your actions, your choices, reveals what fills your heart. As you receive God's wisdom, as you rest in His presence, your heart is being transformed. And your life will reflect that transformation. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. Wisdom gives discernment, eyes to see what others miss, courage to change direction when needed. This is not fearfulness, but faithful stewardship of the life God has given you. Take a moment now to sit in silence by the fire. In gratitude, reflect on a time when God's wisdom protected you, guided you away from harm, or led you to unexpected blessing. The fire's glow reminds you of God's constant care, His watchful presence over your life. Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. The wisdom you receive is not just for you. It flows through you to others, to children, to friends, to all those whose lives you touch. What you're receiving now by this fire will multiply as you share it. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Release your grip on your own plans, your own understanding. Open your hands in surrender. Watch what God will do with your surrendered life. The lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. Even in what seems like chance, God is working. Even in uncertainty, His purposes prevail. You can rest in this assurance. The fire burns steadily, a reminder of God's faithful presence. Wisdom continues. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Your life is held in hands much stronger, much wiser than your own. When your plans align with His purposes, they find their fulfillment. When they don't, His gentle redirection is an act of love. The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Your words matter. The ones you speak to others and the ones you speak to yourself. Choose life-giving words. Speak truth, speak love, speak hope. Imagine wisdom now as a gentle hand on your shoulder, steadying you, guiding you. Feel the reassurance of that presence, the confidence it brings. Do not say, "I'll pay you back for this wrong." Wait for the Lord, and He will avenge you. Wisdom releases the need for vengeance, the burden of settling scores. It trusts God's perfect justice and timing. It frees you to walk in peace. The fear of the Lord leads to life. Then one rests content, untouched by trouble. Not that trouble won't come, but that it won't define you. It won't destroy you. In reverence for God, you find a life that transcends circumstances, a contentment that circumstances cannot touch. The fire's warmth envelops you like an embrace. Wisdom speaks comfort. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Even in conflict, wisdom shows a better way. Gentleness is not weakness, but strength under control. It has the power to transform tense situations, to open doors that harshness would slam shut. Better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city. True strength isn't always visible, isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's found in the quiet choice to wait, to restrain impulse, to respond rather than react. Take another moment of silence by the fire. In gratitude, consider how God's wisdom has given you strength in unexpected ways, perhaps through patience, through gentle words, through self-control. The crackling fire reminds you that wisdom, like fire, brings both warmth and light, comfort and clarity. The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. Wisdom understands seasons. It prepares for what's ahead. It doesn't consume everything at once, but saves, plans, anticipates needs. There is security in this kind of foresight. The wealth of the rich is their fortified city, but poverty is the ruin of the poor. True wealth isn't measured in possessions, but in wisdom itself, in knowing God, in living according to His ways. This is wealth that cannot be stolen, cannot diminish, cannot fail. Imagine wisdom now as a solid foundation beneath your feet. When storms come, when ground shifts, this foundation holds firm. You are building your life on this foundation as you receive these words. The name of the righteous is used in blessings, but the name of the wicked will rot. The legacy of a life lived in wisdom is blessing, not just for yourself, but for others. Your name becomes associated with goodness, with help, with hope. This is a heritage worth building. The wise in heart accept commands, but a chattering fool comes to ruin. Wisdom listens more than it speaks. It receives instruction with humility. It values substance over endless words. In a noisy world, it creates space for meaningful connection. The fire burns steady and bright, like wisdom's constant presence in your life. Wisdom speaks. When words are many, sin is not absent, but whoever holds the tongue is wise. There is wisdom in thoughtful silence, in measured speech. Not every thought needs expression. Not every opinion needs voicing. Discernment about when to speak and when to remain silent is a precious gift. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver, but the heart of the wicked is of little value. Your words can be treasures, offering value to those who hear them. When wisdom guides your speech, what you say becomes a gift to others. Take another deep breath by the fire. Feel the peace that comes from being still, from receiving ancient wisdom that still speaks today. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. Wisdom walks in integrity, in wholeness, in consistency between what is professed and what is lived. There is peace in this kind of congruence, this alignment between heart and action. The lips of the righteous know what finds favor, but the mouth of the wicked only what is perverse. Wisdom discerns what is truly helpful, truly needed in each situation. It speaks appropriately, timely words that bring life rather than destruction. Imagine wisdom now as a compass, always pointing true north. In a world of shifting values and opinions, this compass keeps you oriented toward what matters most. The way of fools seems right to them, but the wise listen to advice. Wisdom remains teachable, open to guidance. It doesn't assume it knows everything. It values perspective, seeks counsel, weighs input. This humility protects from countless errors. Fools show their annoyance at once, but the prudent overlook an insult. Wisdom gives emotional stability, not that you don't feel hurt or offense, but that you aren't controlled by those feelings. You can choose your response rather than being driven by reaction. The fire reminds you that even in life's coldest seasons, warmth is available. Wisdom is a fire that continues to burn, continues to provide light and heat when needed most. The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands the foolish one tears hers down. Wisdom constructs, creates, builds up. In your relationships, your work, your inner life, wisdom's influence is always constructive, always life-giving. It creates spaces where people can flourish. A person finds joy in giving an apt reply, and how good is a timely word. There is deep satisfaction in speaking wisdom at just the right moment, not to prove yourself right, but to genuinely help another person. Wisdom's timing is as important as its content. Take a moment of silence by the fire. In gratitude, remember a time when someone spoke a word of wisdom to you at exactly the right moment, a word that guided, comforted, or redirected you when you needed it most. The steady glow of the fire reminds you that wisdom's light never goes out. It continues to illuminate your path, even in the darkest times. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. Wisdom takes the long view. It isn't hurried or frantic. It works steadily, consistently, knowing that lasting results rarely come quickly. There is peace in this patient approach to life. The heart of the discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out. Wisdom actively pursues understanding. It asks questions. It listens carefully. It remains curious, knowing there is always more to learn, always deeper insight to gain. Imagine wisdom now as a feast spread before you. Every dish offers nourishment, satisfaction, delight. This is what living in God's wisdom provides. Not deprivation, but abundance. Not restriction, but fulfillment. The wise store up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool invites ruin. Wisdom collects insights, lessons, understanding, not to hoard them selfishly, but to have resources to share when needed. Like a well-stocked pantry, wisdom prepares for future needs. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. The peace that wisdom brings isn't just spiritual. It affects your physical well-being. When your heart rests in God's wisdom, your entire being benefits from that tranquility. The fire burns with steady warmth, like the consistent presence of God's wisdom in your life. Wisdom speaks. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. All true wisdom begins and ends with reverence for God. This holy awe opens your heart to receive what He has to give, to learn what He wants to teach. It is the foundation of all other understanding. Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. They are a garland to grace your head and a chain to adorn your neck. Wisdom honors those who have gone before, who have learned life's lessons and passed them on. It receives their guidance with respect, recognizing the value of experience. Take another deep breath by the fire. Feel the warmth, the safety, the peace of this moment. Wisdom continues to speak over you. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. Wisdom is not just intellectual understanding, but character formed over time. It's about who you are becoming, not just what you know. Love and faithfulness are wisdom's companions, wisdom's fruit. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, and do not resent His rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those He loves. As a father the son He delights in. Even wisdom's corrections come from love. When God redirects your path, when He shows you a better way, it's not rejection but profound acceptance. He disciplines you because you matter to Him. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled gardener, carefully tending the garden of your life, pruning what needs to be cut back, nourishing what needs to grow, always working toward greater fruitfulness, greater beauty. By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. Your life is being built by the wisdom you receive and apply. Each choice aligned with God's wisdom adds another stone to the structure, makes it stronger, more beautiful, more spacious. The wise prevail through great power, and those who have knowledge muster their strength. Wisdom gives a strength that goes beyond physical ability. It's the strength of clarity, of conviction, of character formed through thousands of small choices aligned with truth. The fire burns steady and bright, illuminating your face with its warm glow. Wisdom speaks. Do not envy the wicked, do not desire their company, for their hearts plot violence, and their lips talk about making trouble. Wisdom chooses its influences carefully. It recognizes that who you spend time with, what voices you listen to, shapes who you become. It seeks companions who strengthen rather than undermine your journey. By wisdom the Lord laid the earth's foundations. By understanding He set the heavens in place. By His knowledge the watery depths were divided, and the clouds let drop the dew. The wisdom available to you is the same wisdom that created the universe. When you align with God's wisdom, you align with the very principles that hold creation together. There is profound security in this alignment. Take a moment of silence by the fire. In gratitude, consider how God's wisdom has established foundations in your own life. Principles, truths, understandings that have held firm even when circumstances changed. The fire's steady warmth reminds you that wisdom provides consistency in an inconsistent world. My son, preserve sound judgment and discernment. Do not let them out of your sight. They will be life for you, an ornament to grace your neck. Then you will go on your way in safety, and your foot will not stumble. Wisdom protects your journey. It helps you avoid pitfalls, recognize dangers, choose paths that lead to life rather than destruction. This protection isn't restrictive but liberating. Freedom to walk without constant fear of falling. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. The peace that wisdom brings extends even into your rest. When your life is aligned with God's wisdom, anxiety loosens its grip. Your sleep becomes a time of genuine restoration rather than continued stress. Imagine wisdom now as a comfortable bed after a long day's journey, a place of rest, of renewal, of safety. This is what God's wisdom offers your weary soul. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power to act. Do not say to your neighbor, "Come back tomorrow and I'll give it to you," when you already have it with you. Wisdom is generous, timely in its giving. It doesn't delay help that can be offered now. It recognizes opportunities to bless others and acts on them promptly, joyfully. Do not plot harm against your neighbor who lives trustfully near you. Do not accuse anyone for no reason when they have done you no harm. Wisdom creates and preserves community. It builds trust rather than suspicion, peace rather than conflict. It treats others with the same care and consideration it desires for itself. The fire burns with steady warmth, like the consistent love of God that underlies all true wisdom. Wisdom speaks. Do not envy the violent or choose any of their ways. For the Lord detests the perverse, but takes the upright into his confidence. Wisdom chooses its models carefully. It isn't impressed by power achieved through force or manipulation. It recognizes that intimacy with God, being taken into his confidence, is the greatest privilege, worth far more than any advantage gained through questionable means. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the righteous. He mocks proud mockers, but shows favor to the humble and oppressed. Wisdom walks in humility, recognizing its dependence on God. It doesn't mock or belittle others, but shows the same compassion, the same favor to others that it has received from God. Take another deep breath by the fire. Feel its warmth enveloping you like God's love, like wisdom's embrace. The wise inherit honor, but fools get only shame. The path of wisdom leads to honor, not necessarily fame or acclaim, but the deeper honor of a life well lived, a legacy of goodness, a name associated with integrity and help. Listen, my sons, to a father's instruction. Pay attention and gain understanding. I give you sound learning, so do not forsake my teaching. Wisdom recognizes the value of attentiveness, of truly listening, truly focusing on what matters. In a distracted world, this kind of attention is increasingly rare and increasingly valuable. Imagine wisdom now as a focused gaze that sees what others miss, beauty in ordinary moments, warning signs of danger, opportunities for growth and blessing that might otherwise be overlooked. Keep your mouth free of perversity. Keep corrupt talk far from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Wisdom is intentional about where it directs attention. It chooses its focus carefully, knowing that what you consistently look at shapes what you become. It keeps its gaze fixed on what is true, honorable, worthy. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or the left. Keep your foot from evil. Wisdom is thoughtful about direction, not just final destinations, but the small daily choices that determine your path. It maintains steadiness, consistency, reliability in a world that values novelty over faithfulness. The fire burns clear and bright, illuminating your surroundings with gentle light. Wisdom speaks. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Wisdom recognizes that your heart, your inner life, your core values, your deepest loves, determines the course of your outer life. It tends this inner garden with care, knowing the fruit it will bear in every area of your life. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Turn your ear to my words of insight, that you may maintain discretion and your lips may preserve knowledge. Wisdom values discretion, knowing what to share, what to keep private, how to speak appropriately in each situation. This discernment preserves relationships, builds trust, creates safety. Take a moment of silence by the fire. In gratitude, consider how God's wisdom has guided your words, helped you know when to speak and when to remain silent, given you discernment in complex situations. The steady glow of the fire reminds you that wisdom's light remains constant, even as circumstances change. Now then, my sons, listen to me. Do not turn aside from what I say. Keep to a path far from her. Do not go near the door of her house. Wisdom recognizes the power of proximity, that what you allow close to you influences you, shapes you, sometimes in ways you don't immediately recognize. It maintains appropriate boundaries with what could lead away from life. For the lips of the adulterous woman drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil. But in the end she is bitter as gall, sharp as a double-edged sword. Wisdom looks beyond immediate appeal to long-term consequences. It isn't deceived by what seems pleasant in the moment, but leads to destruction over time. It values lasting joy over temporary pleasure. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled navigator, helping you chart a course through sometimes treacherous waters, identifying hidden reefs, recognizing favorable currents, keeping you oriented toward your true destination. Drink water from your own cistern, running water from your own well. Should your springs overflow in the streets, your streams of water in the public squares, let them be yours alone, never to be shared with strangers. Wisdom honors commitment, values faithfulness, recognizes the beauty of boundaries. It finds deepest satisfaction not in endless novelty, but in the profound intimacy that comes only through steadfast love. May your fountain be blessed, and may you rejoice in the wife of your youth. Wisdom celebrates what God has given, finds joy in present blessings rather than constantly seeking what lies beyond reach. It nurtures gratitude rather than discontent. The fire burns with steady warmth, like the faithful love that wisdom cultivates and celebrates. Wisdom speaks. For these commands are a lamp, this teaching is a light, and correction and instruction are the way to life. Wisdom recognizes that guidance, even correction, is a gift rather than a burden. It receives instruction with gratitude, knowing that learning, growing, and being redirected when necessary lead to fuller life. They will keep you from the adulterous woman, from the smooth-tongued stranger. Do not lust in your heart after her beauty, or let her captivate you with her eyes. Wisdom guards the heart against deceptive desires, recognizing that what glitters isn't always gold, that what appeals in the moment may destroy in the end. It anchors desire in what is true, good, and lasting. Take another deep breath by the fire. Feel its warmth, its light, its steady presence, like wisdom's constant availability in your life. Can a man walk on hot coals without his feet being scorched? So is he who sleeps with another man's wife. No one who touches her will go unpunished. Wisdom respects natural consequences, recognizes that certain actions inevitably produce certain results. It doesn't imagine itself exempt from these realities, but works within them, respects them, learns from them. People do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his hunger when he is starving. Yet, if he is caught, he must pay sevenfold, though it costs him all the wealth of his house. Wisdom understands nuance, recognizes that circumstances matter, that human need is real. Yet it also maintains clarity about right and wrong, about actions and their consequences. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled artisan, crafting a beautiful life from the raw materials of your days, knowing when to cut away, when to polish, when to join, always working toward greater beauty, greater strength, greater purpose. Now, my sons, listen to me. Pay attention to what I say. Do not let your heart turn to her ways or stray into her paths. Many are the victims she has brought down. Her slain are a mighty throng. Her house is a highway to the grave, leading down to the chambers of death. Wisdom takes warnings seriously, recognizes that destruction often comes not through sudden catastrophe, but through gradual wandering from the path of life. It maintains vigilance, stays alert to subtle shifts in direction that could lead away from flourishing. Does not wisdom call out? Does not understanding raise her voice? At the highest point along the way, where the paths meet, she takes her stand. Wisdom is available, accessible, actively seeking relationship with you. It stands at life's crossroads, offering guidance when decisions must be made, when directions must be chosen. The fire burns clear and bright, illuminating your surroundings with gentle light. Wisdom speaks. Beside the gate leading into the city, at the entrance, she cries aloud, "To you, O people, I call out. I raise my voice to all mankind. You who are simple, gain prudence. You who are foolish, set your hearts on it." Wisdom invites everyone, excludes no one. It offers itself to all who recognize their need for guidance, for understanding beyond their own limited perspective. This invitation includes you, exactly as you are. Listen, for I have trustworthy things to say. I open my lips to speak what is right. My mouth speaks what is true, for my lips detest wickedness. All the words of my mouth are just. None of them is crooked or perverse. Wisdom speaks truth, not to harm but to heal, not to condemn but to restore. Its honesty is always in service of love, always aimed at bringing life rather than destruction. Take a moment of silence by the fire. In gratitude, consider how God's wisdom has spoken truth to you, perhaps uncomfortable truth at times, but truth that ultimately led to greater freedom, greater wholeness. The steady glow of the fire reminds you that wisdom's light remains constant, revealing what needs to be seen, warming what has grown cold. To the discerning, all of them are right. They are upright to those who have found knowledge. Choose my instruction instead of silver, knowledge rather than choice gold, for wisdom is more precious than rubies, and nothing you desire can compare with her. Wisdom recognizes true value, isn't deceived by cultural definitions of success or worth. It treasures what truly matters: character, understanding, right relationship, above temporary gain or superficial achievement. I, wisdom, dwell together with prudence. I possess knowledge and discretion. To fear the Lord is to hate evil. I hate pride and arrogance, evil behavior and perverse speech. Wisdom rejects what destroys life, not out of rigid moralism, but out of love for what flourishes, what brings genuine joy, what creates rather than destroys. Its boundaries are protective rather than restrictive. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled gardener, carefully removing weeds that would choke out what's valuable, creating space for beauty to grow, for fruit to ripen, for fragrance to develop. Counsel and sound judgment are mine. I have insight. I have power. By me kings reign and rulers issue decrees that are just. By me princes govern and nobles all who rule on earth. Wisdom carries authority, not through force, but through insight, through understanding that aligns with reality, with how life actually works. Its power comes from truth rather than manipulation. I love those who love me, and those who seek me find me. With me are riches and honor, enduring wealth and prosperity. My fruit is better than fine gold, what I yield surpasses choice silver. Wisdom rewards those who pursue it, who value it, who shape their lives around it. These rewards aren't always visible to others, aren't always measurable in conventional terms, but they are real and lasting. The fire burns with steady warmth, like the faithful presence of wisdom in your life. Wisdom speaks. I walk in the way of righteousness, along the paths of justice, bestowing a rich inheritance on those who love me and making their treasuries full. Wisdom creates legacy, not just for yourself, but for those who come after you. Its influence extends beyond your own life, creating ripples of blessing that continue long after you're gone. The Lord brought me forth as the first of his works, before his deeds of old. I was formed long ages ago, at the very beginning, when the world came to be. Wisdom isn't a human invention, but a divine reality, woven into the very fabric of creation. When you align with wisdom, you align with how the universe was designed to function. Take another deep breath by the fire. Feel its warmth enveloping you, like wisdom's embrace, like God's love surrounding you. When he set the heavens in place, I was there. When he marked out the horizon on the face of the deep, when he established the clouds above and fixed securely the fountains of the deep, when he gave the sea its boundary so the waters would not overstep his command, and when he marked out the foundations of the earth, then I was constantly at his side. Wisdom participated in creation, understands its deepest patterns, recognizes its true purpose. This is the wisdom available to you, not superficial advice, but profound understanding of reality as God designed it. I was filled with delight day after day, rejoicing always in his presence, rejoicing in his whole world, and delighting in mankind. Wisdom brings joy, not the fleeting happiness of circumstance, but the deeper delight of alignment with truth, with beauty, with goodness. It finds reasons for celebration even in difficult times. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled dancer, moving in perfect harmony with the music of creation, inviting you to join the dance, to find your place in the greater choreography of God's purposes. Now then, my children, listen to me. Blessed are those who keep my ways. Listen to my instruction and be wise. Do not disregard it. Blessed are those who listen to me, watching daily at my doors, waiting at my doorway. Wisdom requires attentiveness, not just occasional consideration, but daily awareness, consistent openness to guidance, regular reflection on truth. This steady attention brings blessing, brings life. For those who find me find life and receive favor from the Lord. But those who fail to find me harm themselves. All who hate me love death. The stakes of wisdom are high, not because God is punitive, but because reality has consequences. Alignment with truth brings life. Misalignment inevitably brings harm, not as punishment, but as natural result. The fire burns clear and bright, illuminating your surroundings with gentle light. Wisdom speaks. Wisdom has built her house. She has set up its 7 pillars. She has prepared her meat and mixed her wine. She has also set her table. Wisdom creates space for nourishment, for celebration, for community. It prepares good things, sets beautiful tables, invites others to share in its abundance. There is generosity in wisdom's heart. She has sent out her servants, and she calls from the highest point of the city. Let all who are simple come to my house. To those who have no sense, she says, come, eat my food and drink the wine I have mixed. Leave your simple ways and you will live. Walk in the way of insight. Wisdom extends invitation, offers nourishment, provides what's needed for growth and flourishing. It meets you where you are, but doesn't leave you there. It calls you forward into greater understanding, greater maturity. Take a moment of silence by the fire. In gratitude, consider how God's wisdom has nourished you, sustained you, helped you grow beyond where you once were. The steady glow of the fire reminds you that wisdom's light remains constant, guiding your path even in darkness. Whoever corrects a mocker invites insults. Whoever rebukes the wicked incurs abuse. Do not rebuke mockers, or they will hate you. Rebuke the wise, and they will love you. Wisdom recognizes that not everyone is ready to receive truth, that timing and receptivity matter. It discerns when to speak and when to remain silent, when correction will help and when it will only harden resistance. Instruct the wise, and they will be wiser still. Teach the righteous, and they will add to their learning. Wisdom remains teachable throughout life, never assumes it knows everything, always seeks deeper understanding. This humility creates ongoing growth, prevents stagnation, keeps the heart young even as years pass. Imagine wisdom now as a lifelong student, always curious, always learning, always discovering new depths in familiar truths, new applications of ancient principles. This posture of openness keeps wisdom fresh, relevant, alive. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. All true wisdom begins and returns to relationship with God, not distant knowledge about Him, but intimate knowledge of Him. This relationship provides the context for all other understanding, the foundation for all other knowledge. For through wisdom your days will be many, and years will be added to your life. If you are wise, your wisdom will reward you. If you are a mocker, you alone will suffer. Wisdom brings its own rewards, not just in some future judgment, but in the present quality of life, in the natural consequences of living aligned with reality rather than fighting against it. The fire burns with steady warmth, like the faithful presence of wisdom in your life. Wisdom speaks. Folly is an unruly woman. She is simple and knows nothing. She sits at the door of her house, on a seat at the highest point of the city, calling out to those who pass by, who go straight on their way, "Let all who are simple come to my house." Wisdom helps you recognize counterfeits, discern between what offers life and what only appears to. It develops discernment that goes beyond surface appearance to recognize true nature, true consequences. To those who have no sense, she says, stolen water is sweet, food eaten in secret is delicious. But little do they know that the dead are there, that her guests are deep in the realm of the dead. Wisdom sees beyond momentary pleasure to ultimate outcome. It isn't deceived by what seems appealing in the moment, but leads to destruction in the end. It chooses based on destination, not just immediate gratification. Imagine wisdom now as clear, cool water flowing from a spring. See yourself cupping your hands to drink. Feel the refreshment spreading through your body. This is what happens when you receive God's wisdom. It refreshes your entire being. The wise in heart accept commands, but a chattering fool comes to ruin. Wisdom knows when to be silent, when to listen. In a world of constant noise, of endless opinions, wisdom creates space to hear God's voice, like you're doing right now by this fire. Whoever pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honor. The pursuit of wisdom leads to fullness of life, not necessarily ease, but depth, not necessarily wealth, but true prosperity of spirit, not necessarily fame, but the honor that comes from living with integrity. Take another deep breath. Feel the warmth of the fire. Feel the presence of wisdom surrounding you. The wise store up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool invites ruin. Wisdom knows that there is always more to learn, always deeper understanding to gain. In humility, wisdom collects insights like precious gems, storing them for when they're needed. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. You don't need to have all the answers yourself. Wisdom seeks guidance, listens to trusted voices, weighs different perspectives. You are not alone in discerning your path. Now, visualize wisdom as a lamp, casting gentle light on the path before you, not revealing the entire journey at once, but illuminating the next step. This is how God's wisdom often works, showing us what we need for today, guiding us one step at a time. The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. Your understanding will grow. What seems dim now will become clearer. The light increases as you continue to walk in wisdom's way. A person's wisdom yields patience. It is to one's glory to overlook an offense. Wisdom brings the gift of patience with others, with circumstances, with yourself. It gives you the strength to extend grace, to forgive, to release offenses rather than holding them tightly. The fire reminds you that even in life's winter seasons, warmth and light remain. Wisdom speaks. As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. What flows from your life? Your words, your actions, your choices, reveals what fills your heart. As you receive God's wisdom, as you rest in His presence, your heart is being transformed. And your life will reflect that transformation. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. Wisdom gives discernment, eyes to see what others miss, courage to change direction when needed. This is not fearfulness, but faithful stewardship of the life God has given you. Take a moment now to sit in silence by the fire. In gratitude, reflect on a time when God's wisdom protected you, guided you away from harm, or led you to unexpected blessing. The fire's glow reminds you of God's constant care, His watchful presence over your life. Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. The wisdom you receive is not just for you. It flows through you to others, to children, to friends, to all those whose lives you touch. What you're receiving now by this fire will multiply as you share it. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Release your grip on your own plans, your own understanding. Open your hands in surrender. Watch what God will do with your surrendered life. The lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. Even in what seems like chance, God is working. Even in uncertainty, His purposes prevail. You can rest in this assurance. The fire burns steadily, a reminder of God's faithful presence. Wisdom continues. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Your life is held in hands much stronger, much wiser than your own. When your plans align with His purposes, they find their fulfillment. When they don't, His gentle redirection is an act of love. The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Your words matter. The ones you speak to others and the ones you speak to yourself. Choose life-giving words. Speak truth. Speak love. Speak hope. Imagine wisdom now as a gentle hand on your shoulder, steadying you, guiding you. Feel the reassurance of that presence, the confidence it brings. Do not say, "I'll pay you back for this wrong." Wait for the Lord, and He will avenge you. Wisdom releases the need for vengeance, the burden of settling scores. It trusts God's perfect justice and timing. It frees you to walk in peace. The fear of the Lord leads to life. Then one rests content, untouched by trouble. The wise store up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool invites ruin. Wisdom collects insights, lessons, understanding, not to hoard selfishly, but to have resources to share when needed. Like a well-stocked pantry, wisdom prepares for future needs. Imagine wisdom now as a library filled with books of every kind, some ancient and venerable, others fresh and contemporary, all containing valuable insights, all available when needed for reference, for guidance, for inspiration. The wealth of the rich is their fortified city. They imagine it a wall too high to scale. Before a downfall, the heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. Wisdom doesn't trust in temporary securities, doesn't build identity on shifting foundations like wealth or status. It recognizes that pride precedes collapse, that humility is the only solid ground for lasting honor. To answer before listening, that is folly and shame. Wisdom listens before speaking, seeks to understand before being understood. It values the perspective of others, recognizes that no one person sees the whole picture, that multiple viewpoints create fuller understanding. The fire burns clear and bright, illuminating your surroundings with gentle light. Wisdom speaks. The human spirit can endure in sickness, but a crushed spirit who can bear? Wisdom acknowledges the reality of suffering, doesn't offer platitudes or easy answers. It recognizes that spiritual and emotional pain can be more devastating than physical illness, that soul care is essential to human flourishing. The heart of the discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out. Wisdom actively pursues understanding, doesn't wait passively for insight to arrive. It asks questions, seeks teachers, reads widely, listens carefully, always hungry for deeper comprehension, broader perspective. Take a moment of silence by the fire. In gratitude, consider how God's wisdom has taught you to listen, to others, to creation, to your own heart, to His gentle voice guiding you. The steady glow of the fire reminds you that wisdom's light remains constant, revealing what needs to be seen, warming what has grown cold. A gift opens the way and ushers the giver into the presence of the great. Wisdom understands generosity, recognizes that giving creates connection, opens doors, builds relationship. It isn't calculating or manipulative in giving, but genuine, joyful, open-handed. The first to present his case seems right, till another comes forward and questions him. Wisdom suspends judgment until all sides are heard, doesn't rush to conclusions based on partial information. It recognizes that initial impressions are often incomplete, that truth emerges through patient inquiry rather than hasty assumption. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled judge, carefully weighing evidence, listening to all perspectives, considering context and circumstance before rendering judgment. This careful discernment prevents countless errors, countless injustices. Casting the lot settles disputes and keeps strong opponents apart. Wisdom values peace, seeks resolution to conflict, recognizes when compromise or third-party decision is needed to prevent ongoing strife. It isn't stubborn about having its own way when relationship is at stake. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. Wisdom invests in relationships, values loyalty, shows up when needed most. It doesn't abandon others in difficulty, but draws closer, offers support, remains steadfast when circumstances change. The fire burns with steady warmth, like the faithful presence of wisdom in your life. Wisdom speaks. One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin. But there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Wisdom chooses friends carefully, values quality over quantity in relationships, recognizes that who you allow close to you shapes who you become. It cultivates deep, reliable connections rather than superficial acquaintances. Better the poor whose walk is blameless than a fool whose lips are perverse. Wisdom values character over circumstance, integrity over advantage. It recognizes that how you live matters more than what you have, that who you are transcends what you possess. Take another deep breath by the fire. Feel its warmth enveloping you like God's love, like wisdom's embrace. Desire without knowledge is not good. How much more will hasty feet miss the way? Wisdom balances passion with understanding, enthusiasm with knowledge. It channels desire through discernment, ensuring that energy is directed toward worthy ends rather than wasted on misguided pursuits. A person's wisdom yields patience. It is to one's glory to overlook an offense. Wisdom brings emotional maturity, the ability to wait, to forbear, to extend grace rather than demanding immediate satisfaction. It finds honor in forgiveness rather than retaliation. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled diplomat, knowing when to press a point and when to let it go, when to address an issue and when to overlook it, always with the goal of genuine peace rather than mere absence of conflict. A king's rage is like the roar of a lion, but his favor is like dew on the grass. Wisdom understands authority, respects appropriate boundaries, recognizes the impact of power on relationships. It neither rebels unnecessarily nor submits inappropriately, but navigates power dynamics with discernment. A foolish child is a father's ruin, and a quarrelsome wife is like the constant dripping of a leaky roof. Wisdom recognizes that family relationships have profound impact, that harmony at home creates foundation for flourishing in every area of life. It invests in these primary connections, works toward peace in intimate relationships. The fire burns clear and bright, illuminating your surroundings with gentle light. Wisdom speaks. Houses and wealth are inherited from parents, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Wisdom values character above circumstance, recognizes that who you connect your life with matters more than what you accumulate. It sees good relationships as divine gift rather than mere human arrangement. Laziness brings on deep sleep, and the shiftless go hungry. Wisdom understands the connection between effort and outcome, between choices and consequences. It doesn't expect harvest without planting, doesn't anticipate reward without investment. Take a moment of silence by the fire. In gratitude, consider how God's wisdom has guided your choices, helped you invest your energy wisely, shown you connections between actions and outcomes. The steady glow of the fire reminds you that wisdom's light remains constant, illuminating cause and effect, revealing patterns that might otherwise remain hidden. Whoever keeps commandments keeps their life, but whoever shows contempt for their ways will die. Wisdom recognizes that boundaries exist for protection, that guidelines serve life rather than restrict it. It doesn't rebel against wise limits, but embraces them as safeguards, as expressions of love. Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them for what they have done. Wisdom extends compassion, recognizes responsibility toward those in need, understands that generosity toward others is ultimately service to God. It sees giving not as loss, but as investment in what truly matters. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled investor, able to see value where others see only cost, able to recognize returns that aren't measured in conventional currencies but in impact, in relationship, in lasting significance. Discipline your children, for in that there is hope. Do not be a willing party to their death. Wisdom takes responsibility for influence, recognizes that love sometimes requires difficult conversations, uncomfortable boundaries, challenging guidance. It doesn't confuse permissiveness with love or discipline with rejection. Listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end, you will be counted among the wise. Wisdom remains teachable throughout life, never assumes it knows everything, values perspective and correction from others. This humility ensures continued growth, prevents stagnation, keeps the heart young even as years pass. The fire burns with steady warmth, like the faithful presence of wisdom in your life. Wisdom speaks. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Wisdom holds plans loosely, remains flexible, recognizes that God's purposes often unfold in unexpected ways. It plans thoughtfully but without rigid attachment to specific outcomes, allowing room for divine redirection. What a person desires is unfailing love. Better to be poor than a liar. Wisdom values integrity over advantage, truthfulness over temporary gain. It recognizes that trust, once broken, is difficult to restore, that reputation for honesty is worth more than momentary benefit from deception. Take another deep breath by the fire. Feel the warmth, the safety, the peace of this moment. Wisdom continues to speak over you. The fear of the Lord leads to life. Then one rests content, untouched by trouble. Reverence for God brings a life that transcends circumstances. Not that trouble never comes, but that it doesn't define you, doesn't destroy you. In proper relationship with God, you find a contentment that circumstances cannot touch. A sluggard buries his hand in the dish. He will not even bring it back to his mouth. Wisdom recognizes the danger of passivity, of starting what you don't finish, of initiative without follow-through. It values completion, persistence, the discipline to carry tasks through to their conclusion. Imagine wisdom now as a marathon runner, not sprinting with unsustainable energy, but maintaining steady pace, conserving strength, persisting through difficulty, focusing on the finish line even when it seems distant. Flog a mocker, and the simple will learn prudence. Rebuke the discerning, and they will gain knowledge. Wisdom learns from observation, gains insight from the experiences of others, doesn't need to make every mistake personally to understand consequences. It watches, listens, learns from what happens around it. Whoever robs their father and drives out their mother is a child who brings shame and disgrace. Wisdom honors parents, recognizes the debt of gratitude owed to those who gave life and nurture. It doesn't take for granted what has been given, doesn't exploit or abuse relationship with those who have provided care. The fire burns clear and bright, illuminating your surroundings with gentle light. Wisdom speaks. Stop listening to instruction, my son, and you will stray from the words of knowledge. Wisdom maintains lifelong openness to learning, never graduates from the need for guidance, remains humble about its own understanding. This teachable spirit prevents the arrogance that leads to error and failure. A corrupt witness mocks at justice, and the mouth of the wicked gulps down evil. Wisdom values truth, recognizes its essential role in justice, in healthy community, in trust between people. It speaks honestly even when costly, values accuracy above advantage, integrity above immediate gain. Take a moment of silence by the fire. In gratitude, consider how God's wisdom has taught you to value truth, to speak honestly, to maintain integrity even when it would be easier to compromise. The steady glow of the fire reminds you that wisdom's light remains constant, revealing what is real, what is true, what is worthy of trust. Penalties are prepared for mockers, and beatings for the backs of fools. Wisdom recognizes that actions have consequences, that reality doesn't bend to accommodate foolishness. It respects natural outcomes, doesn't expect exemption from the results of poor choices. Wine is a mocker, and beer a brawler. Whoever is led astray by them is not wise. Wisdom exercises self-control, recognizes substances or influences that impair judgment, maintains clarity of mind and purpose. It doesn't surrender discernment for temporary pleasure or social acceptance. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled captain navigating treacherous waters, alert, clear-eyed, aware of currents and conditions, making adjustments as needed to stay on course, to reach the intended destination safely. A king's wrath strikes terror like the roar of a lion. Those who anger him forfeit their lives. Wisdom understands power dynamics, respects appropriate authority, recognizes when caution is warranted in relationship to those with influence. It navigates these relationships with discernment rather than naivety. It is to one's honor to avoid strife, but every fool is quick to quarrel. Wisdom values peace, doesn't engage in unnecessary conflict, recognizes when an issue is worth addressing and when it's better left alone. It finds honor in restraint rather than in proving itself right at all costs. The fire burns with steady warmth, like the faithful presence of wisdom in your life. Wisdom speaks. Sluggards do not plow in season, so at harvest time they look but find nothing. Wisdom recognizes seasons, understands timing, knows when effort is required to ensure future provision. It doesn't procrastinate necessary work, doesn't expect results without appropriate investment. The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. Wisdom understands human complexity, recognizes that motivations aren't always obvious, that people themselves don't always understand why they feel or act as they do. It listens deeply, asks thoughtful questions, seeks to understand what lies beneath the surface. Take another deep breath by the fire. Feel its warmth enveloping you like God's love, like wisdom's embrace. Many claim to have unfailing love, but a faithful person who can find. Wisdom values consistency, recognizes the gap between what people claim and how they actually live. It looks for faithfulness rather than mere words, for demonstrated character rather than empty promises. The righteous lead blameless lives. Blessed are their children after them. Wisdom creates legacy, recognizes that how you live affects not just yourself, but generations to come. It makes choices with this broader impact in mind, considering not just immediate gratification, but long-term consequence. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled gardener planting trees whose fruit will feed children not yet born, whose shade will shelter generations yet to come. This long view shapes every decision, every investment of limited time and resources. When a king sits on his throne to judge, he winnows out all evil with his eyes. Wisdom discerns character, recognizes integrity, or its absence, isn't easily deceived by appearance or pretense. It develops perception that sees beyond surface to substance, beyond claims to reality. Who can say, "I have kept my heart pure, I am clean and without sin"? Wisdom maintains humility about its own righteousness, recognizes common humanity, doesn't claim moral superiority. It acknowledges its own need for grace, extends to others the same mercy it hopes to receive. The fire burns clear and bright, illuminating your surroundings with gentle light. Wisdom speaks. Differing weights and differing measures, the Lord detests them both. Wisdom values fairness, consistency, equal treatment. It doesn't apply one standard to itself and another to others, doesn't change measures based on who's being evaluated. This integrity creates trust, builds community. Even small children are known by their actions. So is their conduct really pure and upright. Wisdom recognizes that character reveals itself in actions, that what we do flows from who we are. It values demonstrated integrity over mere claims, consistent behavior over occasional performance. Take a moment of silence by the fire. In gratitude, consider how God's wisdom has taught you to value integrity, to live consistently, to maintain the same standards for yourself that you expect of others. The steady glow of the fire reminds you that wisdom's light remains constant, revealing inconsistencies, illuminating areas where growth is needed. Ears that hear and eyes that see, the Lord has made them both. Wisdom recognizes divine design in human capacity, values the gift of perception, uses senses as they were intended, to observe reality accurately, to respond appropriately to what is perceived. Do not love sleep, or you will grow poor. Stay awake, and you will have food to spare. Wisdom balances rest with productivity, recognizes the value of both work and recuperation. It doesn't indulge laziness, but neither does it glorify exhaustion. It finds the rhythm that sustains long-term flourishing. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled conductor, knowing when each instrument should play and when it should rest, creating harmony through balanced participation rather than constant sound from every section. "It's no good, it's no good," says the buyer, and goes away and boasts about the purchase. Wisdom maintains integrity in transactions, doesn't manipulate or deceive for advantage. It treats others fairly in business. recognizes that genuine value exchange benefits all parties rather than exploiting one for the benefit of another. Gold there is, and rubies in abundance, but lips that speak knowledge are a rare jewel. Wisdom values insight above material wealth, recognizes that understanding is more precious than possessions. It treasures those who offer genuine knowledge, who speak truth with clarity and helpfulness. The fire burns with steady warmth, like the faithful presence of wisdom in your life. Wisdom speaks. Take the garment of one who puts up security for a stranger. Hold it in pledge if it is done for an outsider. Wisdom exercises caution in financial entanglements, recognizes the danger of guaranteeing obligations you cannot control. It maintains appropriate boundaries in financial matters, doesn't risk family security on uncertain ventures. Food gained by fraud tastes sweet, but one ends up with a mouthful of gravel. Wisdom recognizes that dishonest gain ultimately brings disappointment, that what seems appealing in the moment often proves bitter in the end. It chooses integrity over advantage, truthfulness over temporary benefit. Take another deep breath by the fire. Feel the warmth, the safety, the peace of this moment. Wisdom continues to speak over you. Plans are established by seeking advice, so if you wage war, obtain guidance. Wisdom values counsel, recognizes the limitations of individual perspective, seeks input before making significant decisions. It isn't driven by pride to act alone, but gathers insight from trusted sources. A gossip betrays a confidence, so avoid anyone who talks too much. Wisdom values confidentiality, recognizes the sacred trust of information shared in confidence. It doesn't use others' vulnerability for entertainment or social currency, but protects what has been entrusted to it. Imagine wisdom now as a secure vault, keeping safe what has been deposited, protecting vulnerable information from exposure, maintaining the trust that has been placed in it. If someone curses their father or mother, their lamp will be snuffed out in pitch darkness. Wisdom honors parents, recognizes the debt owed to those who gave life and nurture. It speaks respectfully of family, acknowledges the formative influence of those who raised you, maintains gratitude for what was given. An inheritance claimed too soon will not be blessed at the end. Wisdom respects timing, doesn't grasp prematurely what will come in due season. It waits for appropriate moments, doesn't demand immediate gratification at the expense of long-term blessing. The fire burns clear and bright, illuminating your surroundings with gentle light. Wisdom speaks. Do not say, "I'll pay you back for this wrong." Wait for the Lord, and He will avenge you. Wisdom releases the need for vengeance, the burden of settling scores. It trusts God's perfect justice and timing, frees you to walk in peace rather than being consumed by the need to even accounts. The Lord detests differing weights, and dishonest scales do not please Him. Wisdom maintains integrity in all dealings, doesn't change standards based on who benefits. It treats others with the same fairness it desires for itself, creates trust through consistent honesty. Take a moment of silence by the fire. In gratitude, consider how God's wisdom has taught you to release the need for revenge, to trust His justice, to walk in freedom rather than being bound by resentment. The steady glow of the fire reminds you that wisdom's light remains constant, illuminating a path of peace, even when wronged, even when hurt. A person's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand their own way? Wisdom maintains humility about understanding, recognizes that God's purposes often unfold in unexpected ways. It holds interpretations loosely, remains open to divine redirection, acknowledges the mystery inherent in human journey. It is a trap to dedicate something rashly and only later to consider one's vows. Wisdom considers commitments carefully before making them, recognizes the seriousness of promises, the binding nature of vows. It speaks thoughtfully rather than impulsively, ensures it can fulfill what it pledges. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled archer who carefully aims before releasing the arrow, knowing that once it leaves the bow, it cannot be recalled. This care with commitments prevents countless regrets, countless broken promises. A wise king winnows out the wicked. He drives the threshing wheel over them. Wisdom discerns character, separates what is valuable from what is harmful, protects community from destructive influence. It recognizes that sometimes separation is necessary for health, that not all associations are beneficial. The human spirit is the lamp of the Lord that sheds light on one's inmost being. Wisdom values self-awareness, recognizes that understanding yourself is essential to living wisely. It examines motives, acknowledges emotions, reflects on patterns, not with harsh judgment, but with compassionate clarity. The fire burns with steady warmth, like the faithful presence of wisdom in your life. Wisdom speaks. Love and faithfulness keep a king safe. Through love, his throne is made secure. Wisdom recognizes that even authority rests on relationship, that power without love becomes tyranny, that influence without faithfulness cannot endure. It builds security through connection rather than control. The glory of young men is their strength. Gray hair, the splendor of the old. Wisdom honors each life stage, recognizes the particular gifts and beauty of youth and age. It doesn't cling to what has passed or grasp prematurely for what lies ahead, but embraces the present season with its unique opportunities. Take another deep breath by the fire. Feel its warmth enveloping you like God's love, like wisdom's embrace. Blows and wounds scrub away evil, and beatings cleanse the inmost being. Wisdom recognizes that sometimes pain serves purpose, that difficulty can purify, that suffering can transform. It doesn't seek hardship, but finds meaning in it when it comes, allows it to deepen rather than destroy. In the Lord's hand, the king's heart is a stream of water that he channels toward all who please him. Wisdom acknowledges divine sovereignty, recognizes that even the powerful are ultimately under God's authority. It trusts God's overarching purposes even when human leadership seems misguided or threatening. Imagine wisdom now as a skilled sailor who understands that while they cannot control the wind, they can adjust the sails. This recognition of what can and cannot be controlled brings peace, brings effectiveness even in challenging circumstances. To do what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. Wisdom values ethical living above religious ritual, recognizes that relationship with God manifests in how we treat others. It doesn't substitute ceremony for character or worship for righteousness, but integrates faith with daily conduct. Haughty eyes and a proud heart, the unplowed field of the wicked produce sin. Wisdom walks in humility, recognizes the danger of pride, the deception of self-importance. It maintains accurate self-assessment, neither inflating nor diminishing its true value and capacity. The fire burns clear and bright, illuminating your surroundings with gentle light. Wisdom speaks. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. Wisdom values thoughtful planning, careful execution, patient development. It isn't rushed by urgency, isn't pressured into premature action, recognizes that sustainable results require appropriate process. Did you like this video? Subscribe to our channel and share it with someone who needs this video too.